Good evening. My name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. I'm the Executive Director of A Knock at Midnight. A Knock at Midnight is located at 400 West 76th Street in Suite 206. You can reach us at A Knock at Midnight at 773-488-2960. As always, it's good to have this opportunity to speak to the viewing audience, to talk a little bit about A Knock at Midnight, what we do, why we do what we do, and how things work at our organization. A Knock at Midnight has been in existence since 2003, and it's our primary goal to develop, encourage, and educate youth, individuals, and families on how to deal with the vestiges of poverty, how to work through the ebb and flow of community issues, how to deal with some of the societal norms, how to be what you were created to be, how to be responsible for your actions and your actions toward others, how to live in America without it being a nightmare, but living the American dream. It is so important, you all, as we continue to work through the issues of our times, and we see so many things happening. We see athletes having enormous opportunities to be paid. We see political figures headed off to jail. We see the mass number of killings that's happening in our streets. We see the advancement of medicine, the advancement of science, the advancement of technology. There's so many things going on in the world, and there's so many things to become involved with. And it's every individual's responsibility, personal responsibility, to get involved in that which not only betters the conditions of your life, but also betters the condition of the lives of those around you, whether that is your immediate family or those that live in your community or those that live in your state or what have you. It is our responsibility not only to better ourselves, but to change the conditions by which people are struggling and going through many, many, many changes. As we're going to talk a little bit about today, it's just personal responsibility. What are some of our responsibilities? But before we get to that, I would like to talk a little bit about our program, A Knock at Midnight. A Knock at Midnight is a light in the community. I want to talk a little about some of our programs. We have our Teen Reach program. Teen Reach is designed to create and expand the range of choices and opportunities that enable, power, and encourage youth to achieve positive growth and development, improve expectations for themselves and others, and their capacities for future success by avoiding and reducing risk-taking behavior. That is an after-school program that is funded by the Illinois Department of Human Services, that we've been blessed to have that program to work with so many of the children in the community that's bounded by Vincennes to Halsted, from 71st Street up to 79th Street. We are grateful that those children come in each and every day, Monday through Friday, for tutoring, homework assistance, arts and crafts, one-on-one consultation. They have an opportunity to have some recreation time, field trips, and what have you, to help them better their lives and start to learn how to develop themselves. We also have our family advocacy program, which is designed to develop support systems for families and to help those families identify their strengths as well as identify their needs. It is amazing, you all, how as we go through life, many of us struggle with those things that we are strong at, and also being able to identify that which we need. We know that some of the things that people are participating in, they really don't need those things, and there's other things that they choose not to participate in that they need. We know that every citizen in America needs an education, formal, informal, what have you. We need to be able to read properly. We need to also be able to comprehend that which we read. We need to learn how to count, but we also need to understand mathematics and all those other mathematical sciences that go along with it. We are struggling because the things that we need, we choose to set aside to chase our desires and to chase our wants. And we're really going to have to take a look at that as we start talking about the development of ourselves and the development of others. All of us have a responsibility to one to another. Every family has a responsibility to the members in it. Every community has a responsibility to the members of that community, and so on and so on and so on. But all of that responsibility starts first with self, recognizing your own strengths, those things that make you who you are, but also the needs that you lack or the things that you need to undergird those things that you are strong at. And so we are just calling on people to come by Knock at Midnight, attend some of our workshops, attend some of our trainings. As I come on the show, I'll give you a list of what times we meet. All our trainings are free. They're open to the public. You're more than welcome to come by and learn personal development, learn self-development, also personal responsibility. My name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. I'm the Executive Director of A Knock at Midnight, and we're located at 400 West 76th Street in Suite 206. Tonight we're just talking a little bit about personal responsibility. It's amazing how, as we've been watching some of the events unfold right before our very eyes, and we see that many of our idols that we have chosen to make people idols and have them lord over our lives, and it's amazing how these people are really our fans. We are their fans. We love them until they break the 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught. And so once they break that commandment, then we have all sorts of opinion polls and all sorts of opinionated people chiming in on what's right or what's wrong with varying people. When the thing is simply is, if you live right and do right, you can be right. And if you can be right, then you can love not only yourself, but you can love others. But we are struggling and we're not struggling because of what other people are doing. We're struggling because of our own hate, prejudices, and lies. Many of us are so full of hate because our desires have not been met. We're so prejudiced against the successes and the lifting up or the elevation of the people close around us, and then we subsequently we lie about our own conditions. And it is really a shame that people would act one way in publicly, but in private their lives are a shamble. You look well when you come out of the house, but you really can't invite nobody into that same house, because then people would really have an understanding of the lies that you're living, And see, it's not so much the lies you tell, but how you're living. What is your personal responsibility to not be double-minded and not live a double life? And so our struggles is simply around our own hate, prejudices, and lies. And we need people to call in tonight at 312-738-1060, and let's talk a little bit about personal responsibility and what's causing it to erode so fast, and it seems like it's being not taught to young people. We have other young children who are being born, who are being raised in the different communities and barrios of this city, and they are not taught responsibility. It seems like it's a gray area. It's just a matter of if I want to do it or if I don't want to do it, not if I can do it or I can learn how to do it. And that is primarily our struggle. We see the closing of schools, the turnaround of schools, and many people have a lot to say about this. But the fact of the matter is, if there had been more parental participation in all of those schools, probably none of them would be closed, because most parents or all parents will see the plight of the institution prior to its erosion, and now we see the sediment that's built up at the base of these schools, which is poor graduation rates, poor reading and reading comprehension skills, the inability to learn science, the inability to count. All of these things, as most of these bastions of education have turned into social emotional learning institutions. Well, we spend so much time trying to help them learn socially, how to have social skills and get along with each other and deal with their emotional unbalancing, that as a matter of fact, how can you teach people who are not social and who are mentally unbalanced? How do you work with that population of people? Well, you can't. We always seem to respond, or we seem to be reactive, I would say, instead of proactive. So development starts with a proactive move in the interest of someone else, generally your family or your children, instead of reacting to what life brings upon them, because many of us have fallen asleep at the wheel. We consistently and we constantly look toward those things that make us feel good and not be responsible enough to sacrifice on the front end to enjoy things as a person's life as they get a little older, as life starts to build and the years start to build, and you don't have anything to fall on because there was no sacrifice. And going to school and getting an education is a volunteer act of self-love. Those people who are not interested in education, we could check in on their ability to love themselves, because everyone in America knows without an education, you might as well be dead. And so we have to find out, if you can't get it from an educational institution, then maybe you need to be part of a congregation. And if you can't get it a part of a congregation, maybe you need to become a community involved and understand what goes on in your own community. Or maybe you just need to get a job or something and attach yourself to a company so that you don't fall victim to poverty or a substandard level of living. We're struggling people. We're struggling people simply because we won't take personal responsibility. It is true then and it's true now. Do you truly hold these truths to be self-evident? That all men are created equal, that no man or woman came on this earth different than you, that you have been endowed by certain inalienable rights. You have the right to life. You have the right to be free, called liberty. And you have the right to pursue happiness, called knowledge. Why aren't we doing these things? Simply because we want somebody else to be responsible for us, and we won't be responsible for ourselves. And so subsequently, we see the erosion right before our very eyes of our communities, of our homes, of our families, of our loved ones, and of especially our children. We must come together and galvanize through faith, hope, and love the things that we need to rebuild our children. If it's true, our children are our future, then many times we look down the road and the future looks very bleak. So this is a clarion call to anybody who may be listening that we have to regain control of our ability to be responsible. We don't have to gain control over a corner or a block. We have to gain control over our ability to be responsible. And it's our lack of the ability to be responsible that is causing us all of our problems. We seem to only deal with responsibility after the fact, and at some point that doesn't even make sense. It does not work. Do we have any callers on the line? So we're asking people if you could just call in at 312-738-1060 and let me hear what any of the callers have to say about personal responsibility. Let's go a little bit further and talk about some of the other programs at A Knock at Midnight. A Knock at Midnight is the lead agency for our local area network, which is Land 79. Local area networks are voluntary, inclusive, and community-based bodies with the express purpose of improving the welfare of children and families. Membership in Land 79 reflects a balance of formal systems that operate in a community along with parents and other community stakeholders. One of the things that we're really proud of is having the opportunity to lead the land in the community in which we serve, which is I'd like to call East Inglewood, Auburn Gresham, and those other Chatham, those areas that combine and converge right by our office to offer the community some counseling services, some support services, some services for their children. We're working in several schools, providing those services and those land. We're bringing in close to 20 organizations to discuss how to better equip ourselves to not duplicate services, but to provide as many services as possible in a wide range of communities. And that's what the land is all about. We are a support body, a collaborative network of organizations who simply are dealing with the welfare of children and the welfare of community. Anybody is free to join the land. It is no cost, whether you are a resident or whether you are a community-based organization that would like to be part of a collaborative initiative or part of a collaborative movement. Because if you're like myself and you work at a not-for-profit or you're running a not-for-profit, you have to be or you should be connected to other organizations to strengthen the opportunities that will be brought forth for you to continue to do the work that you were called to do. Also, we've been working with the Culture of Calm Attendance Case Management Initiative with Chicago Public Schools. And we collaborate with the schools to increase attendance and decrease class absences, whether that's in-school cutting or out-of-school truancy. Youth are referred. We conduct home visit, in-school shadowing, and wraparound services geared toward the student and their family. One of the things that is amazing to me is there's no way that you can correct the behavior of a child and not start to try to correct the behavior of the home that they come out of, or even engage the home that they come out of, because there may not be anything wrong with the home except that the young person may be in a lot of mischief or deviant behavior outside of their own household, being disconnected from that communication, getting back to the home. The child continues and continues to be unable to thrive. Well, we try to bridge that gap between the school and between the home by getting out in the community, as the saying says, put some boots on the ground so we can put some meat in those seats at Chicago Public Schools, because our children cannot learn without us engaging. And so we take it as a badge of honor to be able to go into some of the homes, to talk to some of the parents, to help them and provide any kind of wraparound services they may need, to assist them with whether it's medical, whether it's housing, whether it's transitioning, whether it's food, whatever they may need that would make their day not only easy, but make their way successful, so that the young person can come out of a home that has some foundation for development in it. And so we even may have to teach parenting classes in the home. We may have to work through some conflict that's happening inside the home. We may have to try to help move some people around inside the home. That is our job, not only to advocate for the student, but to mentor the family so that these people can be what they were created to be. These are some of the things that we do at A Knock at Midnight. I've just named a few of our programs, and all of our programs are designed to not only strengthen the family, but to move them forward in a way where they can have some dignity and respect, and not think they're being given a handout, but just being given some help. And so we ask families, we ask individuals, anybody who's looking to participate in some of the programs that we offer. We're located at 400 West 76th Street, and in Suite 206. You can call and come in by and ask for any of the family advocates, any of the outreach specialists, myself, Minister Banks, Ms. Brown, any of our staff will be more than happy to give you some assistance, because we need to start to work on our own personal responsibility so we can continue to be and we can continue to grow and not just exist in a world that is ever evolving and ever changing. We have to unstick ourselves, so to speak, and try to move forward as best we can. You know, our struggles are only struggles because we're not doing some of the things that we need to do. You know, so our call-in number is 312-738-1060. I see we have a caller. Let's take that caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, how you doing?
My
name
evening.
is Sherrod.
Hi, Ms. Sherrod.
Minister Banks. Listen, I'm wondering, I heard you talking about getting in the homes and helping people, but how receptive are they to getting help these days? So many times people are kind of shying away from allowing people in their homes or in their business because they're just afraid somebody might find out what's happening. So what kind of reception do you get when you go out to these homes? I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you. We're received very well. We're received from the standpoint that I think we're invited in because we're not there to, like I say, provide a handout. People don't need handouts. They need answers. They need help. In many instances, you find that instead of people referring somebody to some help where they can get the help, they defer them from one agency to the next because many people don't want to deal with some of the issues. And so instead of us being a deferral agency, we don't even have to refer many times. We can go into a household and we have all of the supports in place at A Knock at Midnight to help a family in whatever case, in whatever way they may need, without having them running from pillar to post to this place or that place. They don't have the car fare to go. First of all, they don't even have the energy to go. They don't have the drive, and so it is our job to become the driving force that would help them get where they need to go. We have another call. Let's take the next call. Call, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
How you doing, Mr. Banks?
I'm good. Who am I speaking to?
This is John Taylor. I participated. John Taylor.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
All right. I participated in the parenting class and the counseling, and my child's name was Tasia Barnes.
Yeah. How you been?
I've been okay. Very
Okay.
great. And your services were very helpful to us.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate you even taking the time to call in to say that. We had a marvelous time working with you and your daughter, and you guys ought to stop by and let us know how you doing. Let us see your face.
Oh, yeah. We'll do.
Okay?
All right.
Okay, you have a great holiday now.
You too. Have a good evening.
All right, be blessed. Yeah, so let's continue. And I want to thank both callers for calling in and chime in. But I want to go back to the first caller's question. You know, it is really true that when you're dealing with human issues, then your staff or the people that's dealing with human issues have to be humane. We don't sympathize with people. We empathize with people. We don't feel sorry for you, but we can feel the sorrow with you. That allows us not to get stuck in it, no matter how it may be, no matter how heart-wrenching it may be, no matter how troublesome it may seem. As long as we can go along with it with you, we can help you resolve some of the issues that you may be having. So when we engage homes, we engage them from the standpoint of how do we help this family get back on its feet? How do we provide it the wraparound services that it needs? How do we allow the family to lead themselves where they need to go? Sometimes that's only called having a driving force that offers you some words of encouragement. Because how can you develop somebody that you can't encourage? You have to incite the goodness in people, renew their energy, and renew their own personal drive to do something with their own lives. All is not lost and all is not hopeless, but we so many times are singing that song about what's wrong and nobody never talks about what's right. So we go in and we try to identify the strengths of the family before we start talking about the weaknesses of the family. You know, if you have a home and it has windows and it has furnishings and it has food and it has all of the trappings of a home, but if there's conflict in the home, then let's talk about the strengths of the home before we get to the conflict, because the conflict can be resolved. It's just sometimes we may have to become referee, or sometimes we may just have to be the ones who listen and then repeat or help be of a consulting force in terms of how people work through their own issues, how they get some answers to some of their own problems, deal with their questions, the questions that they have, or see that their needs get met. This is not rocket scientist stuff. This is called one heart connecting with another. This is not rocket scientist stuff. This is called one mind meeting another mind where it is, and then elevating these people so that they can do something for themselves. Because we have resigned people to being recipients of this and recipients of that, handouts, this, that, and the other, and not help them, restore them to a level of dignity where they can rise to the occasion and do what they need to do for themselves. That is simply called strengthening a family. Not only talking about the risk factors, but what are the protective factors that is already in line with these families and how we can help them be better than what they are right now. Whether that is helping them learn how to budget, helping them learn how to properly pay their bills, helping them learn how to talk to their children, helping learn how to have a relationship, helping them understand what marriage is all about. All of these are the issues of our times. And it really is important that someone can go into a family and bring not only some hope, some faith, and some love, but even deal with them on the simplicities of prayer, on the simplicities of having a spiritual foundation in a home. So we don't pull out all stops because some of the answers are right before our very eyes. We choose not to respond to what we see. We're always trying to figure out that which we don't see. You know, so at a knock at midnight, we try to be practical because we truly believe if it's not practical, it's not spiritual. And if it's not spiritual, well, we surely can't be practical. And so we try to keep a practical approach to the development of the individual, the development of the family, and the development of the home. And just keep it real simple. You know, we are always grateful to be here. It seems like soon as we get started, this show starts going toward its conclusion. We are grateful at a knock at midnight to have this half an hour on Fridays to talk to the city of Chicago, to let you know what we are doing on the South Side, what we are doing throughout the city, how we can be of service to you, how we can be of service to your family, how we can help you along the way. My name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. You can reach me at 773-488-2960 if you need somebody to come out and do a workshop, or someone to come do some training, or someone to come and help you work through the problems or the issues that you may be having with your children or in other areas of your life. Feel free to call us at 773-488-2960. Again, I am grateful to be here and grateful to be speaking to you. And always remember, in the darkest hour, truth and knowledge are the way. Be blessed, and thank you.